Oh, it's not like a crisis.
Well,
Oh,
see
okay.
you in a crisis. Of course, I wouldn't know. I would just assume you were, at a meeting or something.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Good afternoon. We're going to call this meeting of the Parks Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll read the appeal of decisions pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws. Please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. We're going to take now the consideration of the minutes. Have you all had an opportunity to read those? Have a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Are there any Metro Council referrals? None present. Okay. We're going to move to old business 01-20-08. Staff request board approval to accept a greenways conservation easement along Dry Creek associated with the Graycroft apartment complex construction project. This easement is located on parcel 03-3000-21200 at address 0 North Graycroft Avenue. The acquisition committee met this morning. Terry Hughes, do you have a report?
I do. The committee approved unanimously that we accept this greenways conservation easement.
Okay. Are there any additional questions from the board? I'll accept a motion.
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you so much. 01-20-09, staff requests board approval of Metro Parks' proposed 2020 usage fees. The Finance Committee met this morning for discussion over those fees. Is there any reports, or we didn't take a vote?
We didn't take a vote.
Anything from the Finance Committee? All righty. I guess
We did learn that the impact of those increases will be about 1.4 million, 1.7 million in addition to what the revenues were this year with those fees, and that goes to the general fund. So it has no direct impact on the budget for parks operating.
Are there any other questions? I know we discussed, but for the public, any discussion or any questions? I'll accept a motion.
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. The motion passes for increased fees. I want to recognize the attendance of Council Lady Hancock. I always want to call you Haddock. Hancock, do you have any referrals for us or want to address the?
I do not, but I do want to say happy birthday to the Weekleys. I saw that email, and that's pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll move now to the consent agenda. We're going to take that all together. Any questions regarding that? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All righty, thank you so much. Moving to new business, 02-20-04, Mr. Philip Claiborne, founder and president emeritus of the Friends of Two Rivers Mansion, requests the board to accept wayfinding signage in the amount of $7,000 for the mansion and the 1802 house from the Friends of Two Rivers Mansion. Is there a staff recommendation?
I believe this is being deferred to the next meeting.
Thank you so much. The item will be deferred. 02-20-05, Ms. Annie Leslie Owens, Interim Public Art Manager, requests permission from the board to install a Metro Arts Women's Suffrage Centennial Citywide Crochet Mural as a temporary public art project on the Founders Tower in Public Square Park for the time period of August 10th through November 9th, 2020. Is there a staff recommendation?
Yes, we are in favor of this art project.
Thank you so much. And we have a presentation of you, Anne.
I did have a presentation. I don't think we were able to get that to work. However, we have a handout that is there at your seats regarding the project.
Can you state your name for us?
Yes, my name is Ann Leslie Owens, and I'm the Interim Public Art Manager with Metro Arts.
Thank you.
This is a project that we are bringing to you, requesting installation of this temporary public art project, a crochet mural for women's suffrage to be hung on the Founders Tower at Public Square Park, as you said, from mid-August until mid-November. And this, of course, would correspond with Women's Equality Day, which was on August 26th, and is the anniversary of ratification of the 19th Amendment. This project is one that is actually part of a series. There is an artist by the name of Olick, and she's an international fiber artist. And she has a series where she recognizes women and with a quote from them on these large, oversized murals. And so we have been in contact with her. We've been in contact with the Arts and Business Council of Nashville, who'd like to partner with us on this. And we appreciate this project just because it is a citywide project. Everybody who wants to participate is encouraged to. Those who want to crochet or learn to crochet. So we like the idea that we could have groups at libraries, at community centers all over Nashville working on this project. How this project works is the artist creates, working with the community, creates this large pattern, and then it's broken down into smaller squares. And then those squares are distributed to everybody who wants to participate. And so they crochet their portion of it, and then when the artist comes back to town, they are all joined together for this large mural. So there's an element of surprise when it's installed, and the dedication, that's when it's revealed who the suffragist is who is featured on this mural. So our request then is to install this at the Founders Building from mid-August to mid-November. Thank you.
And
Yes.
are they currently crocheting, or they're
No,
Okay.
we are still just talking with the artist, kind of figuring out who that woman, that Nashville suffragist might be. So, yes, the workshops will take place during the summer.
Okay. And then be installed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion? Are there any questions? Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you so much, Ann. 02-20-06, staff requests permission from the board to enter into a facility doctoral capstone agreement with Belmont University for a period of 5 years, in which either party may terminate upon 30 days written notice. So this is a request from staff. Is there a
Yes, ma'am.
presentation?
This program is a win-win. It allows Belmont students to earn credits towards their degree, and it brings qualified, energetic, enthusiastic volunteers into our disabilities program. We're very excited about it. Belmont students have been volunteering for a number of years. We're doing the 5 years so that we don't have to go through this approval process each year, because this will also have to be approved through council as well after you all approve it. So staff is enthusiastically in favor of this.
Nice. Are there any questions from the board?
Move for approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 02-20-07, staff requests board approval for application and ultimate acceptance of a grant funding up to $25,000 from the United States Tennis Association, USTA, for the purchase of new LED tennis lights in the Centennial Sportsplex Indoor Tennis Center with Metro Parks matching award grant funding. So staff recommends. Is there another report?
Again, we recommend strongly. This would allow us to use deferred maintenance money that is currently slated to cover the whole cost. If we get the grant, then we could use that money for other replacement fitness equipment at the Sportsplex.
Any questions from the board? I'll accept the motion. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 02-20-08, staff requests approval to accept a greenways conservation easement in a proposed residential development located at 2841 Lebanon Pike on parcel 09602001700, and as described in the attached easement agreement and boundary survey exhibit. The easement dedication is a condition of the project's final site plan approval. We're going to defer this to acquisition. Moving to special presentations and introductions, Friends of Two Rivers Mansion to present their annual update to the board.
Thank you, Director Odom, Madam Chair, members of the staff. I have with me today Mickey Sullivan. He is our president-elect for the Friends of Two Rivers. Sherry Forrest, who is the president, was planning to be here today, but she is a business executive.
I didn't understand that.
Oops. Maybe she didn't want me talking about her.
And if you would, please just state your name.
I'm Phil Claiborne, and I'm the founder of the Friends Group, and so I have some material for you in the packet that's on your table. I won't read everything for you, but I'll highlight some of the things, because I was told to take no more than 5 minutes here, so we'll skim them right on through. The first item on page 2 is the calendar of events, which you approved in the consent agenda. Page 3 has our financials. Our actual revenue for last year was $60,841, and our expenses $33,551. So we're very proud to have finished the year 2019 with a profit of just over $27,000. The 2020 budget that was adopted by the board is on page 4 and 5 for you, and so that's $49,700, and one as a part of that $49,700, 19 hours of Ms. Carrillo's salary is included in that number, as well as 2 docents who we gift or provide grants to the board for summer tours and for holiday tours. It also includes a $4,000 amount goes into an escrow account that's been building over the past several years toward the future repainting of the mansion, which is going to take place probably within the next 2 to 3 years. The last time was when the mansion renovation was done back in 2012. So we had hoped to be higher at this point, but we had to spend about $8,000 a couple of years ago because of some water intrusion on the front facade, and we had to reglaze and do work on the south windows of the building. But we are currently at just over $18,000 in that escrow amount for the repainting of the mansion when that comes due. On page 6 is just a roll-up of our visitation. In 2018, we had 12,464 people on property, and that was an increase of about 1,500 over the previous year. The activity for 2019, we had 10,490 people. That's a decrease from the previous year, but that's a decrease because 2 of our largest draws were preempted because of bad weather. The presence of the symphony in June and our holiday, our Halloween at the Mansion event in October both in past years have drawn between total, the two combined, between 6,000 and 7,000 people in those two events. So if we'd had those two events, we would have finished 2019 with about 17,000 people on property, which is a significant increase. On page 7, we have added some significant things to the mansion collection this past year. We had an 1880s crazy quilt donated back in the late summer. This belonged to the grandfather of the gentleman who donated it, who is now 96. And if you know anything about a crazy quilt, this is a spectacular example. And if you visit us at the mansion, we'd be glad for you to see that. We also were gifted a mahogany trim velvet sofa that was purchased in the 1966 estate sale. And most recently, we have obtained an 1860s doctor's carriage, which was donated by the Tennessee Agricultural Museum, and we're in the process of restoring that to its original condition. 2020 marks the 4th year of the master plan, phase 1, that we did in 2016, and a copy of the first phase 1 5-year plan is on pages 9 and 10. The items that are highlighted in yellow there have been accomplished since the plan was adopted by the board in 2016. Primary objectives of the first 5-year plan are listed as increasing visibility and visitation to the site, new facilities to alleviate rental usage of the mansion, new public access assets, and to generate revenue. So as an organization, the Friends Group has done our part, we think, to accomplish the increased visibility, visitation, and revenue, and in the ongoing effort to do our part to fulfill more of the intended goals of the plan. The process was begun last fall to acquire interpretive signage for the grounds, and so as you saw, we have deferred gifting those for another month because of an issue, but this project should be completed in the very near future, and we'll continue to focus on the interpretive portion of the master plan in 2020 with similar interpretive pieces inside the mansion. So in closing, the board would encourage the Parks Department to focus on 2 items that it's under its control during the coming year. Number 1, the construction phase of the event center. We have the plan in place, the design. All we need is the money to build, and so the completion of this center will enable a much broader range of revenue-producing activity on the property, and it will ease the strain on the mansion and open the door for the mansion to become a true house museum to be used for educational and tourism purposes. And number 2, funding a full-time employee of the mansion continues to be an issue. As you can see, based on the level and the density of activity that we have and the number of people on property, growing visitors, the mansion is simply at a point where a part-time employee is not sufficient to meet the needs adequately. The Friends Board members do as much as we can to alleviate that by volunteering hours, but ultimately it is not our total responsibility to fund and to maintain a property that is owned by the city. So with that, I would entertain any questions for you.
All righty, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your
the
time.
presentation. We'll have now the capital projects update from Tim Nate.
2 changes from last month. The new Hadley Park Pavilion has been on this list for some time. We are rebidding construction of that, so we're in the middle of that rebid process on that. And then a new project on this list is reconstruction of the tennis courts in Madison Park, and we've been able to do that because the Madison Community Center project that was completed some time ago came in under budget. Otherwise, all of these projects are ongoing.
Thank you, Tim. Upcoming special events and activities, Jackie Jones.
Yes, this Friday is the opening reception for the Art Center's February exhibit. That exhibit is called Hindsight is 2020. They will have artists from the Nashville Collage Collective, and they have created, and I quote, thought-provoking work which revolves around the theme of hindsight and exploring the clarity of the past and uncertainty about the future. So the reception starts at 5:30. The exhibit runs through April 2nd. On Friday, February 14th, the infamous Senior Valentine Day Ball. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Cathedral of the Incarnation. The Tyrone Smith Review is the entertainment for the day. The tickets are $25 per person. That includes dinner and door prizes. This event is primarily for people 50 years old and older, and they will card you at the door. The very last thing is a community day at Fort Negley Park. That is scheduled for February 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They will have reenactors, food trucks, and a variety of activities there. And we have a complete listing of all of our events on our website and in our newsletter as well.
Thank you so much. Any department updates? No department updates. Report of the director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll have a quick report today, but and it primarily focuses on our very productive Finance Committee meeting that we had, where we were able to talk about our current budget position, operating budget position, and our FY21 budget submission, and some of the ask. And included in that ask are basic needs of the department that will allow us to be more productive and to maintain areas. Those are requests from across the department. Those asks will be from across the department. As I did mention in that meeting, that I will be meeting with the finance department next week on the 13th to kind of walk through our requests and discuss impact and also revenue. So thank you all for a productive meeting. And we will definitely inform you, update you on how that meeting went, and as we move forward through the budget process, the items that you discussed, that we discussed in that meeting, we'll move forward with that strategy. I wanted to mention one thing that is in line with what the administration has named as a priority: effective and sustainable government. Some of our staff met internally and have recommended that, and this is not something that you need to vote on, but I do believe that you need to know, have recommended suspending our memorial bench program. They are high maintenance and low public benefit, and so in that vein, we are planning to move forward with suspending that program. That has already been, benches have already been kind of suspended in Percy Warner, Centennial, and on the Greenways anyway. Citizens or residents will continue to be allowed to memorialize their loved ones with a tree. And I think that's more environmentally sustainable, and it is less of an impact on our staff here. So we will move forward with that. I just wanted to let you all know there will still be a way for folks to memorialize their loved ones, but we'll remove the benches from that program. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a point of personal privilege, the next time that we meet, Monique will have celebrated her birthday. Director Odom will have had a birthday. She's a February 29th baby. Or February 11th. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
17 or 18,
Yeah.
right? Like every
12.
4 years or something. Yeah.
So she's 12.
Get a birthday.
And just to make note, Captain Chris Taylor, who is not here, he is also a leapling, I think it's called, and so is Russell
Leapling.
Lackey, who works with John Holmes. He is also
In
a
one department.
leapling.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 in one department.
That's amazing. So she'll be 12. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Announce.
About our legal.
Well, wait. I don't know if she wants to. Announcements, requests for future agenda items, open items. Hi.
Hi.
Did you want to say anything?
Well, I think most of you've already heard, but I'm pregnant.
Congratulations, Macy. I was going to just allow that to happen naturally. Thanks, Dan.
Don't you want to tell her business?
Any other announcements, requests for future agenda items, or open items? If not, I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.